world filled with battles, some seen, many unseen, God calls us to show ultimate loyalty by choosing worship even when we are standing in the middle of a war zone. Our struggles today may not be fought with swords like in ancient times, but we fight battles in our minds, in our hearts, in our families, and in our faith. This week's lesson, ultimate loyalty, worship in a war zone, reminds us that before God's people faced any enemy, they first faced their own hearts. Before any victory on the battlefield, there must be victory in worship. Before conquering lands, they had to renew their covenant with God. And the same is true for us today. Our greatest battles are won when we pause, surrender, and worship the God who stands with us in every storm. With this message in mind, let us journey through the experience of Israel as they learned that worship is not a break from the battle. Worship is the reason they won the battle. As Israel finally stepped into the long-awaited promised land, God reminded them that true victory begins not with swords, but with worship. After more than 40 years of wandering, their feet were now resting on the soil of Canaan. Yet, before any battle could be fought, the covenant had to be renewed. In Joshua 5, God commanded the men of Israel to be circumcised, restoring the sacred sign they had abandoned during years of doubt. This act removed the reproach of Egypt and called them back to complete loyalty and surrender. Before they could conquer nations, God first needed to conquer their hearts. When the people celebrated their first Passover in Canaan, it became a symbol of freedom, restoration, and new beginnings. The old generation had eaten the Passover before leaving Egypt. Now the new generation ate it as they entered God's promise. And just as Jesus later transformed Passover into the Holy Communion, He reminds us today that His sacrifice carries us out of our spiritual Egypt and leads us toward the heavenly kingdom. As Israel continued their journey, worship again became central. On Mount Ebal, Joshua built an altar exactly as Moses commanded, not on the mountain of blessing, but on the mountain of the curse. This symbolized Jesus, who became a curse for us so we might receive blessing and life. In the middle of warfare, Israel paused their victories to worship, offer sacrifices, and listen patiently as the law, blessings, and curses were read. Their covenant was renewed, their hearts refocused, and their identity as God's people restored. Finally, before the tribes separated to settle in their territories, Israel raised the sanctuary at Shiloh, visible sign of God's presence among them. The sanctuary was not just a structure, it was the center of their unity, worship, and victory. Without God's presence, Canaan was only land. With God's presence, it became a home of promise. Today, as we face our own giant's fear, discouragement, pressure, and temptation, God calls us to look toward the heavenly sanctuary where Jesus intercedes for us. Worship must still come first. Renewal must still begin with God, and real victory still belongs to those who place Him at the center of their lives. As we close this video, may we remember that every true conquest begins with the heart surrendered to God. Israel won, not because of their strength, but because they chose to worship before they fought. And the same God who led them through deserts, rivers, and battles is calling us today to renew our covenant, deepen our worship, and trust His presence. Whatever battles you face, personal, spiritual, emotional, place God first, and He will lead you into your promised victory. May this lesson inspire us to walk with faith, worship with sincerity, and live with renewed commitment to the God who goes before us.